Hello everybody, I am back in my house. I am sitting down at the table. I am surrounded by cats and dogs and Christmas decorations. And I wanted to do a wrap up of our Polynesian Bungalow resort hop semi-vacation. It was not a vacation for my mom. She was working every day during the week. And of course we checked in on Monday, checked out on Friday, so she didn't really get a full day in the resort with us. Emma was doing homework, I was doing homework. Adam and Sherry had a vacation, and Sherry was even still kind of working from the Polynesian, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a summary of my thoughts and my experience. I think Adam and Sherry are going to do this on their channel too, but this is my perspective of how that vacation went for us. We used our DVC points to book this Polynesian Bungalow. This is not something that we ever would have done, just the three of us. Yes, it was something that we always wanted to do, but it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow over the water, and we just didn't see the value in it for just the three of us. But I knew that it was something that Adam and Sherry really wanted to do. It was a bucket list item for them. And so knowing that, and knowing that we could make that dream come true for everyone, really kind of influenced where we were going to stay. We knew we wanted to do another holiday resort hop at Walt Disney World because we did it last year and it was great. We wanted to do it a little bit different this year. And so we had been planning this even before COVID. We had been planning this for months and months and months since last December. And we knew we wanted to make it longer. So last year we stayed at the boardwalk, and we stayed 3 nights in a 1-bedroom villa at the boardwalk. And this year we knew we wanted a little bit more space. We knew we wanted to try a different resort area of Walt Disney World. So last year we were at the boardwalk, which is an Epcot resort. And this year we stayed at the Polynesian, which is a Magic Kingdom resort. So it's different forms of transportation and different park view. It was really different for us this year. We did not do the parks this year. We decided that we wanted to focus solely on showing the resorts to Adam and Sherry because they had never experienced the Walt Disney World resorts. They have experienced the Grand Californian in California at Disneyland, but they have never stayed there. The only Disney resort they had ever stayed in was Aulani, which is funny because I haven't even stayed there. But I wanted them to see that you don't have to do the parks to get a Disney experience. You can get Disney without spending so much money or walking so far or experiencing all of the crowds. You can still have a wonderful Disney vacation without it being so hard on you and your body and your budget. So that was really kind of my priority this time, was to show them a different part of Walt Disney World and how you can experience Disney a different way. I really wanted them to see the resorts at Christmas time, because when they decorate completely like they did last year, it is absolutely amazing how much they decorate. There are enormous gingerbread houses, intricate gingerbread houses, enormous beautiful trees, decorations everywhere. It is just completely a magical Christmas wonderland, and it was still magical. It was still Christmassy. It was still beautiful this year, but there were less decorations. There were no gingerbread houses, unfortunately, so it was just a little bit different this year. I wouldn't say it was less magical, just a different level of magical. On our resort hop tour, we visited 11 resorts overall, including the Polynesian that we stayed at. We visited Coronado Springs on the very first night, and the Grand Destino Tower, I think, amazed Adam and Sherry and really set the bar very high for their expectations for the rest of the resorts. And then as we went throughout the week, we visited Old Key West, and then we did the Riviera Resort, and then we did the Skyliner, which made Sherry very nervous. She is not a fan of heights. I have some thoughts on the Skyliner that I'm not going to really share here, but it is not my favorite form of transportation on Walt Disney World property. We visited the Boardwalk, Beach Club, and Yacht Club, and those were all very beautiful resorts, but I noticed the lack of Christmas decorations in those, maybe the most of all of the resorts this year as compared to last year. The Wilderness Lodge Resort was maybe the best experience that we had of all of the resorts. It was beautiful, it smelled amazing. We had a really great experience at Geyser Point at the bar there near the pool, near the water, and Mitch was our server and he was fantastic. And then we went to Boulder Ridge there at Wilderness Lodge and got to see part of a train that was owned by Walt Disney, and that was really cool. And another one of our favorite food experiences, or at least for me, was Sanaa at Kidani Village at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and that was really delicious too. We got to use a bunch of different forms of transportation, including lifts, Disney World buses, the monorail, the Skyliner, and boats. There were all kinds of forms of transportation, and I really enjoyed experiencing all of them and seeing the differences this year as compared to last year. The Skyliner, for instance, they are separating parties, so a party will get a private Skyliner, so you'll get your own Skyliner car and you'll get to ride by yourself. Last year they were kind of putting like smaller parties of 2, they would put them together in the same car. It was just a little bit more private this year. I want to get into my thoughts specifically on the Polynesian because that's probably why you're here. When we walked into the bungalow for the very first time, we were all packing our luggage and we're all carrying our bags, and we opened the door and walked in, and the immediate thought, the very first thought we had was, this place smells amazing. It smelled so good inside that bungalow the whole time we were there. I don't know how they do it. There weren't plug-in air fresheners in the walls. It was just, it smelled so good. It smelled clean. The whole place was very clean. It was a large space. It was 2 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, plus a full kitchen and dining room and living room. And the space was planned out really well. We never felt like we were stacked on top of each other, and there were 5 of us in this place, and it was really nice to get to share that space with Adam and Sherry for 4 nights. It was a bit of a hike from the bungalow itself to the front of the resort where the bus stop was, or where the lift pickup drop-off station was. It wasn't close. So we were at the front of the water, we were on the water, and we had to walk all the way through the resort. And the Polynesian doesn't have straight lines. They're all kind of, you know, wavy, curvy. And so it just kind of made for a little bit of a hike every day when we were trying to get from the resort to somewhere else, or when we were coming home from Disney Springs or another resort. It just made for a lot of walking. Even though it wasn't as much as inside the park, it was still a little bit more than maybe we were all expecting. I did learn something on this trip. On your smartphone, on the Walt Disney World app, they have this feature when you link your reservation to your account, and you can unlock your stateroom door, or your stateroom, I sound like I'm on a cruise. You can unlock your door, your room door, with your smartphone. And that worked for the bungalow itself, but there was a gate that kind of kept people from walking straight up to the front door of the bungalows, so they have a little bit extra privacy, which is really nice for us. But the smartphone unlock feature did not work on that gate, so you did have to have a magic band to unlock the gate, but then you could use your phone to get into your room. So it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but that was our experience. I don't know that I would ever stay in the bungalow again. I would definitely try out a treehouse villa from Saratoga Springs. I would try out a cabin at Copper Creek at Wilderness Lodge. It was a unique experience, but I don't think we spent enough time in the room to justify doing it again. We got a pretty good deal on this room using our points. We spent fewer points because we stayed during the week instead of over the weekend. So since we didn't stay Friday night or Saturday night, we paid less per night for the room with points. But still, I had a good time. I'm not saying that I didn't like this room. I did. It was beautiful, and everything in the room functioned well and made sense. It was laid out really well. It was planned very well, built very well. We had one little weird issue, and that was that sometimes we would have loud plumbing. If there was like a weird, loud flushing noise at odd times, sometimes in the middle of the night, sometimes in the middle of the day. And it didn't matter if anybody was running the shower or the sink or the toilet or anything. It would just make this weird, loud flushing sound. But other than that, everything in the room was perfect. I just think that I would explore other resort opportunities before I would go back to this Polynesian Bungalow. But I did have a really good time. I think I would change my mind about that if I was going to spend more time at that resort. So right now, Polynesian is under major construction. They're doing a lot of improvements and a lot of remodeling inside the resort. And so there were some restaurants that were closed. And of course, during COVID, there are different opportunities for things and different operating hours for things. I wouldn't stay here in this bungalow again if I was going to go to the park every day, because I feel like the value of this room is the room itself. But I don't think I would do the Polynesian Bungalow if I wasn't going to spend that time in the room or in the resort experiencing that, because that's kind of the point of the bungalow, is because it's a beautiful room, it's a unique experience, and we didn't experience everything, or I didn't experience everything that the room had for us to experience. Like, there was a little dip plunge pool and I never got in it once. I think it was a little too chilly for me. I think Adam got in once, but I never experienced that. I want to talk about some new experiences that I had this year, because I did do this last year. I saw all of the resorts last year. I did not see all of them this time, but I got to experience some new things this year that were introduced after I had experienced the resorts last year, like the Enchanted Rose lounge at the Grand Floridian. This is a beautiful place. The drinks were made very, very well. The prices were a little bit high, but the venue was beautifully themed and appointed, and the couches and chairs were so comfortable. The service was a little bit lackluster, but that didn't ruin the experience for me. I still had a really good time. I would go back, definitely, for sure, but I would also lower my expectations for the service next time. It was difficult because we did Enchanted Rose right after we did Geyser Point, and we had just had Mitch, and he was so animated, and he was the epitome of a cast member. That is what they should all be like. And then we went to the Enchanted Rose immediately after, and it was a completely different experience cast member wise. And so I would definitely lower my expectations for cast member service if I went back to the Enchanted Rose. Another new experience for me on this trip was California Grill. We did California Grill with Mackenzie. She made the reservations for us, and we did this dinner together. We'd had it planned for weeks and weeks, but I still don't know that I would recommend California Grill or even go back. I didn't have a bad experience. It's not that I would tell you never ever to go, but I also didn't have a life-changing, magical, wonderful experience at the California Grill. And I don't know that it would be justified to go back frequently unless it's for a special occasion. I think there's better sushi around Walt Disney World, especially off property. So I don't even know that I would go back for that. I might go back and try brunch because I've heard good things about brunch. So when they start doing brunch again, maybe I'll think about doing that. But I would consider other dinner opportunities, especially for fine dining, because there are lots of opportunities for fine dining elsewhere on Disney World property also. So I'm glad I did it. How's that? I'm glad I did it, but I don't think I'll be rushing to do it again. Boulder Ridge at Wilderness Lodge was amazing. The theming was beautiful. The Imagineering in that space was so intense and concentrated, and it made me want to stay there next. So maybe next year, if we do this again, if we do another holiday resort hop next year, which I really do want to do, this is something I enjoy so much just because it is so intense, Christmas and Disney and magic, and it just gets you in that spirit, and I love it so much. I think if we do it again next year, I think I might be able to convince them to stay at Boulder Ridge, because it was amazing. It really was. It was amazing. There's nothing else I can say. We didn't even see a room. We just saw the lobby and the hangout areas and the fireplace and the tree. It was wonderful. I definitely want to go back even right now, today, to go visit, just to be in that space again. Some highlights from this trip. And it's funny, I've got my notes down here on my laptop, and they all revolve around food. So the first one is Enzo's Hideaway. We had the lasagna. Thank you, Enzo's Hideaway, for letting us have the lasagna. It was perfect. There was nothing wrong with that experience. We got a great table. We had a great server. The food was fantastic. The drinks were great. They kept bringing us bread. And it was, that was how I wanted every dining experience to go for us at Walt Disney World. It was perfect. And I'm really happy that we did that. Another dining experience that was a highlight of the trip was paddlefish, also at Disney Springs. I had never been here before. My mom and Emma's my sister, if you guys don't know. My mom and my sister had been to paddlefish. They had gone together while I was in Alaska. I did not know this. And they had a really good time. And so we all went to paddlefish for dinner. And I hate to say my expectations were low, but they were not as high as they should have been given the experience we had. And I definitely cannot wait to go back here. The food was good, the drinks were good, the service was fantastic. The service here set the bar for the service everywhere else on property, and it was met only by Mitch at Geyser Point, which is my next highlight. Geyser Point is a place lots of people talk about, and when you walk up, it's a pool bar basically, but they have really comfy chairs and tables outside, and we were sitting where we could see the water and we could see the boats coming in, bringing people from Magic Kingdom and taking people to the park. We could see the backside of the Contemporary. It was beautiful. It wasn't loud. There were a couple of TVs, so you could probably watch like a sporting event on TV out there if you wanted to. The food was good. I didn't like the bison burger, but that's a me problem, I think. I did like the charcuterie. That was so well put together. The drinks were fantastic, and the service from Mitch was superior. Overall, I would definitely do this again. I would do this vacation again. I regret nothing. I'm so glad that we got to share this experience with Adam and Sherry. It was wonderful. I had such a good time seeing all the resorts in the holidays, you know, dressed up and decorated and, you know, all kind of a little bit gaudy. It was beautiful. And I'm so glad I got to share that with them, even though it was different this year and there were fewer decorations and it was a little bit disappointing. It was still beautiful. It was still magical. It was still Christmas. They found a way to still give you that Christmas spirit without doing everything. And I did notice the lack of the gingerbread houses. And that made me sad. I'm still sad. I was sad when they announced they weren't doing it. I'm still sad because they're not there, but it's okay because they will bring them back someday, I'm sure. But I had a great time and I regret nothing, and the room was wonderful, but I still, I would experience something else on property before I went back to the Polynesian Bungalow. The room tour will be going up in January. I don't want to make that a Vlogmas video because it's not Christmas. Right now we're in Vlogmas, and since this was a holiday resort hop, I don't feel weird putting this video up during Vlogmas. We are going to get back into more Christmassy Vlogmas content soon, but right now I just wanted to let you know that this is it. You guys aren't going to see any more of Adam and Sherry on my channel. I meant to film more vlogs while they were here, but we were having so much fun that I actually forgot to continue vlogging after the Polynesian. So you guys aren't going to see any more of them on my channel for a while. I know I'm probably going to go back to Alaska sometime. I'm going to see them again sometime. I just don't know when. Life right now behind the scenes is so chaotic. I don't even know what I'm doing next week. Wild. So with school and all kinds of other wild things, you know, normal life things that are overwhelming me at the moment, and Vlogmas on top of everything, just a little bit much. But anyway, that's it for the legs on my channel for now. I think they've got a couple more videos that they filmed while they were here, so you can check out those videos on their channel when they go up. I don't know their Vlogmas schedule. I will link their channel in the description box if you're interested. But that is going to be it for this Polynesian wrap-up video. If you have any questions about my experience, if I forgot anything, please just like ask in a comment and I will gladly answer any questions that you have. Like I said, chaos. So if I forgot something, and I'm sure that I did, just ask it in a comment and I will get to it, I promise. But that's it for today. You guys will see me in the next Vlogmas video tomorrow.